Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're so excited to be here today on Wednesday, the day before Halloween. And we have an exciting show today to bring to you. One of the biggest challenges we find for small businesses is not the lack of funding for your business, but the ability for small businesses to access that funding. So, we're going to talk about what makes your business bankable today. And this is an exciting question for small businesses. And we have a special guest with us. We're excited to have her today. So, I'm Lydia High, your favorite accountant.
And I'm John Pennington, a small business owner.
And we'll be able to bring this information to you today. And so we have some questions that we've gotten from our listeners that we're going to answer today before we get to our guests. So we're excited to be able to talk about funding and money for your business and the difference between asset capital, equity capital, and if you have skin in the game when it comes to your business and getting funding.
Yes, as we know, as small business owners, we're always excited when we want to start a business, but we want to get money. We want to get funding. And we don't know what kind of loans are out there. And that's why I want to say, Lydia, what type of loans are available for small business owners being an accountant?
There's so many different loans out there for small businesses. Again, it's based on the needs of your business. So it's important to know what type of funding that you're looking for when it comes to your business. If you need working capital, if you need it for equipment, or if you need equity. And again, if you're looking for equity funding, that's a whole different animal. That's a whole different climate. And looking for venture capital, someone that's going to be a part of your business for a very long time. So you have to understand what type of funding you need before you need the funding. So we have SBA funding that's available for small businesses, business term loans, and I'm going to get into a little later the definitions of what these are and how they can help support your business and what you need for funding. So there's business lines of credit, there's loan factoring, there's merchant cash advances and equipment financing, as well as getting startup capital from friends and family and fools.
And foods.
So being able to do that, and John, we know that you've been in business for a long time, and you started out with your startup capital, and then was able to get funding. What was your first type of loan you had? Was it merchant? Was it an SBA?
Well, being a small business owners, and like any small business owner, we start a business. Some of us have bad credit, or there's something wrong that we can't qualify with the bank. So in the end, I had to go with a merchant loan to get my business off the ground. I had my own money. I started mine. I was lucky enough. I started mine with less than $4,500, and just with the community supporting the business, I was able to extend and survive over that 12 months. After the 12 months, it gave me the opportunity to then go to a merchant account. Now we call them merchant, but they are hard money lenders.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they are. So merchant cash advance gives you like a lump sum of cash at a set percentage on a daily credit card transaction. So they take that from your daily credit card transaction, and it's usually a higher percentage.
Yeah, and that's what I know. We had that discussion. But as a business owner, you need cash for payroll, expense to survive during the day or during the month, and people like Lydia, my accountant, who would turn around and say, you're paying a lot of interest rate on borrowing this money, but at the time, as a business owner, I had to survive. So my thing was, I will accept those interest rate, which is high, but you have to be disciplined to be able to pay it back on a daily basis and not squander your money.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about the options of having a cash advance and why small businesses choose cash advances. And that has a lot to do with credit. And we're going to talk about that
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah. So basically, how long do you need to be in business to get a loan, Lydia?
that's a good question. So generally, you can actually get a loan if you just start out. So if you want startup capital, again, you can get a loan from family and friends or venture capital to be able to get a loan. So you can get a loan based on your business plan. There's no specific time on how long you need to be in the business, but you got to have historical data, and we'll be able to talk to our guests about that. So my suggestion is always to be able to have 2 years tax returns to be able able to show some historical data. And again, people want to be able to see how you manage your money and what skin in the game you have. So again, that's very important to have some historical data when it comes to your finances. And how long were you in business, John, when we first got your first merchant loan? How long?
I think it was a year and a half.
Yeah.
A year and a half, 2 years, because obviously we had to build the income to show that we were making a revenue for the merchant people to look at you. Because they look at your 3 months bank statement. Well, I'll let you tell them what they need since that's the paperwork you got ready for me. But I was in business about a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, because they want to look at your, again, historical data on your bank statements and see that you are able to make these daily transactions coming out of your merchant service. And they also look at your merchant statement to see what level of revenue you have coming in. So we're just excited to be able to talk about this all day. And John and I talked about this in the last week and just had some really exciting dialogue about it and how we can help small business with funding. But before we move into our exciting guest and bring her to you, we want to just mention our sponsors. So our sponsor is AA Printing Service. The address is 4800 South Maryland Parkway, Suite C, Las Vegas, Nevada 89119. So if you need any printing needs, please reach out to AA Printing Service. The phone number is
702-527-7474.
Thank you, John. 702
527-7474.
Great.
And I'd like to thank one of our sponsors, Well Precise Business Management. If you don't want it done twice, call Precise at 702-542-3330, 702-542-3330, or go to preciselv.com. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're so excited today to bring on this phenomenal woman. I've known her for such a long time in the community. She does so many things in the community and to help small businesses and to be able to help organizations, nonprofit organizations. She comes out, she does workshops. I've worked with her with so many of my clients and getting them bankable, getting them loans, and being able to support their efforts and the growth of their business. She's just such a wonderful woman. I can't say enough about her. We was just talking a few minutes ago. She is my queen of red, Miss Jerry Merritt.
What does she do? She doesn't come in red today. Unbelievable. I was ready for the red.
She is the money lady. She is the money lady.
How you doing, Miss Jerry?
You know, I am good. Thank you very much for inviting me. Once I got the call from Lydia, I was very excited because you two are two of my favorite people.
Oh.
You know, working with Lydia in the community, and of course, John, you're always there.
Oh,
You're always there for small businesses. You're there for nonprofits. You know, and to be able to have you as a client, you know, over the last few years is very exciting. So I'm happy to be here this morning.
Yeah, so we're happy to have you. So we're going to dive into what's important to our listeners and how do we get funding for our business. So first, tell us about your business. I know what you do, but tell our listeners what you do and how you help small businesses when it comes to working capital.
Yes, as Lydia said, I'm Jerry Merritt. I am Senior Vice President with Bank of Nevada. I am the Division CRA and Community Development Manager, but at the same time, I am also a Relationship Manager. Basically, what that means is I am constantly in the community building relationships to actually help you with your business. But today, I'm here to talk about a fund which is a revolving loan fund that do not belong to Bank of Nevada. Right. And sometimes that's very hard to say, you know, in the same sentence because I just told you that I was a banker.
Right.
But I also said that I was a community development manager. Mm-hmm. So at Bank of Nevada, we are definitely all about community. Mm-hmm. And as part of our CRA, and CRA stands for Community Reinvestment Act. Mm-hmm. We are the administrator for the Nevada Opportunity Loan, a fund, which is actually state dollars that belong to the state of Nevada, that the state of Nevada actually wants out there to be able to help small businesses be successful.
Yes, and the great thing as you get more in detail about the Nevada Opportunity Fund, John is a recipient of that fund. So, I put the paperwork together, and Jerry gave us the funding, and John is the business of the recipient of that
Yes,
fund.
I was the first one, apparently.
Yes,
the first one.
definitely.
You told me about it.
You were the guinea pig.
Yes, I know. I know. I felt like a guinea pig too, but it was a success in the end, and it all these packages takes a team.
Yes.
And Lydia, being my accountant, worked with you directly. I just said I want a loan. She took care of everything, and you guys made it work. I'm the one that was stomping my feet saying, "Where's my loan? Where's my loan?" And she's like, "We got it, John." And it did. It came out in the end, and it was a success.
Yeah. John, I heard you say a very important word a few minutes ago, and that was team. Okay. I think for small businesses, it is very important to have a team. And sometimes as a small business owner, we think, I'm a small business, I can't afford a team. Yes. Your team is your bookkeeper or your accountant or your
You can't
banker.
afford not to have a team, right?
You almost can't afford not to have a team because success for your business have a lot to do with what you're doing.
Absolutely.
But when you have someone else to do the things that you cannot do or do not have the ability to do is what make you successful as a small business.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing that I came across. I look at all CEOs have all these advisors, and us as small business owner, we said we can't afford it. Well, Lydia was my first team member when I started my business because I was finding the numbers difficult to handle.
Yeah.
So I sat down with Lydia and we talked. And it's small business, you can do this.
Yes.
Work a deal with your partner. If they believe in you, they will support you until you get on your feet, and that's what Lydia did. And we've been together now 10 years.
Yes.
With her supporting the company, and she fights for this company, which is I really am amazed by that. But that's what we're gonna do as a team.
Yes.
So tell us more about this fund and how small businesses can qualify for it, and what makes it unique and compared to other products that other banks have.
In 2017, when the legislature was actually in session, and at the time, our Attorney General now, Aaron Ford, actually fought really hard to make sure that small businesses that could not qualify for a loan at a bank had an opportunity to get access to capital. The Urban Chamber, the Latin Chamber, the Asian Chamber, all of the organizations out there that believed in small businesses actually came to the table and supported Senate Bill 126. So it was actually approved. Bank of Nevada became the administrator. So we actually have the money in the bank, and believe it or not, from 2017 is 2 years later, we still do have funding. And the reason we have funding is because it's a revolving loan fund. So every time John makes his loan payment, it goes right back into the fund so that we can have the ability to be able to lend it to others. The great part about it is that if you are a startup business, and sometimes startup is a bad word when it actually comes, to banking, because there is no historical data, as you mentioned earlier. If you're a startup business, you can qualify for up to $25,000 without having any business financial information. We ask for 3 years of your personal tax return and a business plan. And here's another key. You must have a credit score of 625.
That's excellent. That's good.
And as we know, if you've applied for a loan at a financial institution, your credit score needs to be much higher.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you plan to go someplace and you have no plan?
Right.
Okay. So we take that business plan, we read it, we learn about your story.
Yes.
And after we learn about your story, we look at your projections.
Yes.
And that's where we get the financial data from, is that you project what your business is going to do from 3 to 5 years. And we take that information and actually build you cash flow analysis so that we can determine whether or not you'll be able to pay that loan back to the state of Nevada.
So I first want to say that one thing you said that was great is that if you do have a startup, that you can get capital up to $25,000, which is wonderful, and to have a business plan. So sometimes people don't know exactly what to put into a business plan, but that is very important in your financials and your projections. And that comes back to what John says, to get a team person, to get an accountant, to be able to reach out to an accountant to help do that. So we're excited to be able to know that small startup companies can get that fund. So how about existing businesses?
If you're an existing business, and I think we talked a little bit
Yes,
a few
we
minutes
did.
ago about if you've been in business 2 years or more and you actually have financial information, you can borrow up to $50,000 unsecured. But you can also borrow up to $100,000 secured. And what does that mean?
Yes.
That means that you must have collateral. Some of the examples that I use and that loans that we've done, if you are an existing business and you need some equipment,
Right.
okay, we can actually take that equipment, we can purchase that equipment for you, and that is the collateral actually for your loan.
Right.
Another one is that if you're a small business and you're in a small building and that building is still financed, but since our economy is changing, you happen to have equity in that building, we'll actually go in second. You'll say, I need $100,000 maybe to expand my business or to do something else. We can actually take the equity from a building that you're in to actually secure that loan.
And that's wonderful. Let me ask you this question. So, if you wanted to consolidate, let's say I have a loan, existing loan, and you're finishing up that loan and you want to expand your business, can you take this loan to consolidate?
Well, I am so glad that you asked that question. Because when we created the Memorandum of Understanding with the state of Nevada, we kind of talked about that.
Right.
Okay. And unfortunately, this loan cannot be used to consolidate loans that you have already.
Okay.
The sole reason this fund was actually created was to be able to help you grow.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know, and some small businesses will argue with me and say, "Hey, I can't grow until I pay off these loans."
Right.
Okay, and that could be a true statement sometime. But no, you cannot borrow this money to be able to pay off loans that you've already taken.
Right, and that's so important to be able to let our listeners know that.
Yes.
So if you're at a high debt to income ratio and you have a lot of existing debt and you want to be able to now take another loan so it gives you a little bit of cash flow, we're going to talk about that as well, but that's something that you cannot do. So that's a great answer.
But the good part about that is that by looking at the business plan, even though you may have a very high debt to income ratio, but if you're projecting that this money that you will borrow will help you
reduce
actually
that.
be able to move forward, we will use the projections
Wonderful.
from the information that you give us to see if we can actually help you with that debt ratio, and at the same time give you the ability to be able to pay our loan back.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that was the way that we did my loan to expand into another business, showing the projection of we're going to make money to get this loan. But there's certain challenges in your industry for funding small business. What are those challenges, would you say?
Well, I think the biggest challenge would be is what we're talking about here this morning, you know, is not being able to actually walk into your financial institution, a bank that you have a relationship with, and ask them for a loan, because it's a relationship, right? You should be able to go to your bank and say, Mr. and Mrs. Banker, I need a loan. But there are certain criterias, you know, that we as a financial institution have to meet that is actually set up by the Federal Reserve and other entities that we apply to, that we cannot make the exception. So I would say credit.
Yeah.
That credit score is the biggest challenge.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Having that existing cash flow. Okay, because when you come into a bank to actually take out a loan, they will actually take a look at your existing data and be able to say, if you have the money already to pay us back for this loan, we can take a look at it.
Right.
But you can't come in and say, I want to take out a loan and this is the money I'm going to make to be able to pay you back.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Right.
So I would say credit and cash flow. And of course, we do finally at some point get around to collateral, but those would be your two biggest challenges. Is that you got to have that great credit score. It's important to protect. And then, of course, cash flow. Because you can't get a loan if you can't pay it back.
Right, absolutely. We want to be able to see what skin in the game that you have for your business. So it's really important if you're looking to get funding for your business, to be aware of your credit score, to improve your credit score before you call the financial institution, or to be able to get an accountant partner to be able to work with your accountant. Or if you don't have an accountant or you need someone to help you with your business plan, you can always reach out to my company, and we'll talk about that later. But again, me and John was talking about, it was really interesting because this last week we were talking about misappropriation of funds. So when a person gets this loan, and I know that we have to do a use of proceeds, and what a use of proceeds is what you're actually going to use the funds for, that you have to submit that document to the bank. But again, if those funds are misappropriated, how does that work? And me and John had a really good conversation about that.
Well, first of all, as a small business, you're probably saying, well, how did the bank know that I misappropriated the money that I borrowed? Okay, usually that's the key question there. Is because when you take a loan from a bank, there's always due diligence that have to be done. Okay, the bank will request to see your financials. Whether it be quarterly, whether it be semi-annual, or whether it be annually, the bank is going to want to know how you as a small business is doing. So when you bring in your financial information that your accountant has done well, okay, they will be able to see if you have actually used the funds for the purpose that you requested it. Okay, and it's very simple. Say, for instance, when John came in to take his loan from us, he told us that he needed money to expand his business.
Absolutely.
So the first time we asked for his financial update, if we didn't see that John had any income coming in from a new business, a question to John would be, so John, what did you do with the money? Yes. So it's very important that when you come to a financial institution and you give them a purpose for a loan, that it needs to be used for the purpose that you requested.
Yeah, so John usually looks over at me and go, Lydia, Jerry wants to know what I did with the money.
And that's sort of wanted to shout out to the small business owners out there who, I've spoken to a few of them about this situation. And what we do is, as small business owners, if I didn't have Lydia, maybe I'd have done something like that, you know, because we get the money, we go and buy a new car because we want to look like executive. Then we thought, well, let's get a suit because it goes with the car. And we get to spend the money that's not supposed to be on what we're supposed to spend it on. So I'm glad that I've had Lydia to guide me that way, because as small business owners, we do not get a training manual to come with the business. So we don't know this. And then we go to the bank to say we need money, and they say, well, you spent it on a new car and now I can't afford to pay you back. Yeah. And that happens, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Quite often.
So just to get this question in, so if you're a small business and you're a startup and you're looking to get capital and you're looking to get money, if you don't have an accountant or someone to help prepare your documentation for you, then I suggest that you reach out to my office or reach out to someone that can help you. But if you have that package together and you say, okay, I have a business plan, I have a good credit score, what is the next step? Do they go online? Do they contact you? What is the next step in getting that application or getting that process started?
Well, thank you for asking that question, because when we started the Nevada Opportunity Fund, unfortunately, the state of Nevada did not give us dollars for marketing, and thank you for having me here today so that we can get this information out. But you may contact me directly, and that is really the only way to get started with the Nevada Opportunity Fund.
Right.
You can contact me best by emailing me at jmerritt, MERRITT, at bankofnevada.com. And just basically say you heard me on this program, or that you know something about the Nevada Opportunity Fund. Give me your contact information. I will get back with you. I'll send you an application. And once you receive the application actually states everything that you will need to complete the package. And I'll be the first to say, a complete package makes a quicker decision.
Yes, it does. I know that for a fact. Yes, it does. So we're just going to mention our sponsors really quick. Nail Therapy Boutique, Beauty Boutique, The Boss Lady. We're so excited to be able to support her business. She was on our show last week. A wonderful, wonderful boutique. I went and got my nails done there, and she does an excellent job. It's 804 South Las Vegas Boulevard. 804 South Las Vegas Boulevard, downtown. You can reach her at 702-685-4515. 702-685-4515.
And we'd also like to thank a custom T-shirt for sponsoring the show as well. They're located at 4800 South Maryland Parkway. Telephone number 702-633-8313, 702-633-8313, where they provide screen printing, embroidery, and direct-to-garments.
And we want to thank our guest, Jerry Merritt. She's awesome. It seems like we can talk about this for hours because so many small businesses need funding. So we're definitely going to have you back on future shows. We're just so excited to have you here with us today.
Yes, no, I'm excited because we always doing business, but we never get a chance to sit down. And with us being, trying to support small business, we wanted to have all the information possible because funding is important for us, but we need to know how to do it. And I would say, if you're going to call Jerry and get an application form and you need to put your package together, contact Lydia. Because Lydia and Jerry has a great relationship. Lydia knows what is needed to get it done, and I would get in touch with her to have it done, get it done, which is 702-647-3688.
Is the request line.
The request line, yes. Yeah.
That's not the line to my
office.
office.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
That's the line here. So again, we want to thank Jerry Merritt for coming out. She's just an incredible person in the community and what she does for small businesses and so many different nonprofit and organizations in the community. We just applaud her for her service to the community. I want to be able to get in really quick that Jerry did mention credit. And that's so important, and having good credit when it comes to your business and what that looks like, not only for your personal credit and your business credit. So, John, how was your credit when you first?
Oh, my credit was terrible. I'll be honest with you, just like every business owner out there, well, not every one of them, but a lot of us, we start off because we had bad credit cards. Me, when I started my business, I went into foreclosure with my property in 2008. So I had to file a BK. So that caused a lot of problem for me. So to go to a bank asking for a loan with a BK and a foreclosure on your credit report won't get you any loans. Yeah.
John, can I just make this statement also? That if you had a bankruptcy, okay, and you've been able to get your credit score back up to 625, you can still apply for the Nevada Opportunity Fund.
And that's a good question. How recent? Have your bankruptcy? So if you had a bankruptcy this year, you can actually qualify for a loan. If you had
if you've had
year?
a bankruptcy this year, and your credit score is 625, okay, we look at the reason why you filed bankruptcy. We can still.
And this is for the Opportunity Fund?
Nevada Opportunity Fund.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that.
Because when the state of Nevada, when we were working with the state of Nevada to actually put this fund together, it was all about let's help the small business with things that the bank cannot help them with. And having a bankruptcy is number one. But if you've established that credit again, and you can prove that you've actually been making payments, okay, we can help you.
Wonderful.
Okay, well, just to quickly wrap it up, what kind of documents do you need to qualify? And Lydia, that would be a great question for you being an accountant.
Yes. If you need to have your business plan, you need to have financials, like Jerry said. If you're a startup, you need to have your projections or historical data for your business. So we're going to, if you have any questions or issues with regards to the application, if you have the applications and you need help putting them together, you can call me at Precise Business Management at 702-542-3330. We're running out of time, but if you do need help with it, and I've gotten several of my clients loans, so I'm excited to be able to help small businesses grow. You can reach me at 702-542-3330. And I wanted to say really quick that we're giving away, if you call in at 702-647-3688, we're giving away to small businesses, if you've been in business less than 1 year, QuickBooks, Intuit, accounting software package.
Yes, and what are we talking about next week, Lydia?
Next week, we're talking about the do's and the don'ts of your accountability when it comes to having money and how to implement business financial principles so that you can actually stay focused and stay on point when it comes to your money.
We got a lot of stories about that.
We do.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Listening to the All the Way Up Talk Show. Follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All the way
I
up
know
is